Hi, this is Tyler with Nanobox. So what I want to show you in this quick demo is how you can launch your application to the cloud provider of your choice. So to get started, we log into our dashboard and we'll go ahead and launch an app. Now before we do this, and if this is the first time that you've launched an app, this will actually it'll walk you through this. But since I've launched apps before, I'll just kind of show you here that I have linked my personal AWS account and my personal DigitalOcean account. So you can do that as well. You simply add your account, choose your provider, and put in, and then you just kind of fill in the details that the provider has given you. And I've already done this, so I don't need to do this. I was just kind of showing you what this might look like. So back to the main. And since I've got my accounts linked, I'm going to go and launch an app. And I'm going to go ahead and leave this blank. It'll choose a name for me. And now I get to choose which of my hosting accounts do I want to use. I'm going to go ahead and use DigitalOcean. It tends to be just a little bit faster. So what we see here is that Nanobox is actually going to order a server on our account, install the platform, and then we can deploy into it. We can kind of see all the information here about the server that it's going to order on our account. So let's go ahead and get started. So by starting this, the first thing that's going to happen is that Nanobox is going to order the server on our account. We can see here in the heads-up display and also in the server silvering status here that the server is being ordered, and right after the server is ordered, it moves to provisioning the server. So here we see that Nanobox is installing updates, it's applying a firewall, it's configuring a virtual network, installing Docker, and a couple other miscellaneous security and house cleaning items. And what's really fun to do here is to just really think about all of the things that you're not having to do because Nanobox is doing that for you. So that generally takes about 2 minutes to complete that process, after which it's going to install the platform. While that's doing that, let's go and look at our application and get it ready to deploy. So we have an application. In this example, it's a very simple Python application that uses the Flask micro framework that simply returns hello Nanobox in the body when the root path is requested. Now this could be any application. This could be Rails. This could be a PHP app. This could be a Java app. It could be any application. We are just using Python here and this simple app. And then we create a box file. Now the box file is what informs Nanobox of how the application, the environment that the app needs to run in and what that environment needs to have, but also how do we run that app. So in order to deploy, we have to specify a web process. And I'm just going to go ahead and call that main. I mean, I literally could have called it anything. I could even call it Bob if I wanted to. That just becomes the name. So, and I have to give it a start command. So I know that to run this app, I just need to say app.py. And that will actually run the app. And with this configuration, this minimal configuration, that gives us everything that we need to run this app. So let's go ahead and check on the status. It looks like we're almost complete. Nanobox has that server completely provisioned, ready to go, and now it is installing the platform. So the platform would be the pieces that provide like a load balancer, the logger for centralized logging, a monitor for monitoring the health, and a message bus for pushing those notifications up to your dashboard. And so it looks like that's about wrapped up. So let's go ahead and start the process of deploying. So I have these nice instructions here. Deploy your app, show instructions. Okay, download Nanobox, I've already done that. Develop your app, I've already done that. So now what I need to do is add this app as a remote to my local project. So I've gone ahead and copied that. And I can now go into the project that I'm working on, and I make sure that I'm in the app root, and I add this app as a remote. And now that I've added it as a remote, I can deploy to it by just running Nanobox deploy. So what we're going to see here is that Nanobox on my local workstation is going to pull the application into a virtual, into the virtual environment, and it's going to prepare a runtime that has everything that this application needs to run in production, and it's going to package the application and the runtime up, upload it to this remote application, and then make this application live. And so because this is the very first deploy, it actually has to send everything up, and that takes a little bit longer than subsequent deploys, actually significantly longer. Subsequent deploys will compare the delta or the differences from the previous deploy and the current deploy, and it usually takes a matter of seconds instead of here, as we can see, about a minute. Okay, so it's now been uploaded, so we go to the dashboard to check the progress. We can see that this application has received the deploy, already detects that it's a Python app, and it is now provisioning that application, configuring and starting the services. And once this application is up and running, then Nanobox is going to configure the load balancer to route traffic to this application. So we can now say live app, and it looks like for some reason we can't actually launch this app. So we take a look at our logs, and the logs are telling us, oh yep, we did not install our dependencies here. So let's go ahead and do that. So we pop into our local environment here, and now we need to just do a pip install Flask. Flask is needed to install this application. Install spelled with 2 L's. And then we will freeze these dependencies into a requirements.txt file. Okay, that actually now informs this. So this little jog here is not necessary for all of the applications. I just forgot in this application to install the Python dependencies. But it is kind of neat to see this because we can actually see what happens when we deploy this app. It doesn't run properly. Our logs are showing us what's happening. It's being output. And so after making that change, you can actually see, whoops, did I run? I need to run deploy. Okay, Nanobox deploy. I typed the wrong command. So this time you'll notice that it only synchronizes the delta. And so it notices that there's just a couple of files that are different, and it's going to pack those files, commit them, and then continue the deploy. So significantly quicker on subsequent deploys. And now we can see here that this application is going to run the same process. Actually, this time what it's going to do is it's going to launch another it's going to launch another container or containers if it's scaled up to try to get it configured, provisioned, the application started. And then after it's up and running, it's going to update the load balancer and remove the old one. So it looks like that process is done. This deploy is through, and let's see if now, hey, the application is up and running. Okay, so hopefully this has been a quick overview, give you a little bit of a preview here of how you can take your application, any application, Rails, Ruby, Python, Django, Flask, whatever, PHP, Laravel. You can take that application and you can provide a simple configuration file for Nanobox, and then link your hosting account with Nanobox, and then let Nanobox do all of the lifting. Let Nanobox take care of everything. So Thanks for joining, and we've got some really cool stuff coming up, so I would encourage you to stick around and watch the others. Thanks.